Ever wondered what you'd do if you won the lottery? Buy a mansion, travel the world, maybe even start a charity? Sounds dreamy, right? But what if that dream turned into a nightmare? Buckle up as we delve into the jaw-dropping tales of lottery winners who hit the jackpot but lost it all in the most unbelievable ways. Number 1. Michael Carroll. Let's begin with Michael Carroll, a guy who used to haul trash for a living and then suddenly found himself hauling bags of money. In 2002, the British garbage man hit the jackpot, winning a staggering £9.7 million. Imagine the shock, the disbelief, and then the euphoria. One moment, he's dealing with the garbage bins, and the next, he's contemplating which luxury car to buy. Carroll didn't just go off the rails, he blasted through them like a runaway train. First off, he turned his mansion into a demolition derby. Yep, he bought top-of-the-line cars only to wreck them for kicks. Moreover, his house parties were so over the top that they made Roman orgies look like tea parties. And let's not forget his infamous trip to Spain. Carroll wasn't just a tourist, he was a one-man wrecking crew. He got kicked out of multiple hotels for causing chaos that would make a rock band's backstage antics look like child's play. It was as if he was on a mission to get banned from an entire country. And you know what? He almost succeeded. Fast forward a few years, and the king of chops found himself dethroned, penniless, and back to square one. His so-called friends, who partied hard with him, disappeared even faster than his cash. Number 2. Evelyn Adams. Twice lucky, twice foolish. At number 2 is Evelyn Adams, a convenience store worker from New Jersey, who had the kind of luck most of us can only dream of. She won the lottery not once, but twice within a span of just 4 months in 1985. The first win bagged her $3.9 million, and the second added another $1.4 million to her coffers. Adams was swimming in cash, and the world was her playground. But here's where the story takes a nosedive into the world of what were you even thinking? Evelyn Adams had a gambling itch, and she just couldn't scratch enough. She started hitting the slot machines in Atlantic City like there was no tomorrow. She also made some pretty terrible business decisions, like buying the convenience store where she used to work. Sounds like a good investment, right? Wrong. She later put it up for sale, presumably at a loss. And let's talk about her generosity, which turned out to be her Achilles heel. She loaned out chunks of her winnings to people, most of whom never paid her back. Basically, she was running a charity for the financially irresponsible. The result? By 2012, the woman who had once been a millionaire was living in a trailer park. Number 3. Willie Hurt. Next on our list is Willie Hurt, a regular guy from Michigan who jumped from obscurity to fame overnight. How? He hit the Michigan Super Lotto jackpot in June of 1989, raking in a cool $3.1 million. At that point, he was a perfect family man, happily married with 3 kids. Opting for annual payments, Willie was set to receive $156,000 every year for 2 decades. It was the kind of money that could either pave the road to paradise or lead you straight into a living hell. Skipping ahead 2 years from that lottery win, Willie's life took a dramatic dive into darkness. He had separated from his wife and become entangled in divorce proceedings. But that was just the tip of the iceberg. Willie had developed a crippling addiction to crack cocaine. By September 1991, he was not just battling addiction, he was also flat broke. Willie found himself at the Birkwood Inn, a hotel where he had been holed up for about 3 weeks. During this time, he was joined by Wendy Elizabeth Kimmey, and together they went on a drug and alcohol binge. Their loud arguments caught the attention of other guests, and the situation culminated in a horrifying tragedy. Wendy was found dead in Willie's room, killed by a gunshot wound to the head. Willie then turned himself into the police, facing charges of open murder. It was later revealed that the fight that led to Wendy's death actually began when Willie got angry over running out of crack. Sadly, this winner's addiction and bad choices pushed him into crime and ruin. Number 4. Janet Lee. Another lottery winner who took a unique path with her newfound wealth. Janet Lee was originally a South Korean immigrant and was making a living running a wig shop in St. Louis, Missouri. Her life took a turn in 1993 when she won the Illinois lottery, pocketing a staggering $18 million. Opting for an annuity, she was slated to receive $620,000 annually, At this point, you'd think she'd be set for a life of ease and opulence, right? But Janet wasn't your typical lottery winner who splurged on mansions, yachts, or flashy cars. Nope, she had a different plan. She moved her family into a gated community in St. Louis, which cost her around $1 million. That was her only significant expenditure for her own benefit. After that, she went all in on philanthropy. And not just any philanthropy. She aimed high, donating large sums to the Democratic Party and even dining with big-shot politicians like Bill Clinton and Al Gore. She also donated to educational causes, making such a hefty contribution to Washington University School of Law that they named a reading room after her. From the outside, it looked like she had it all figured out. But here's the kicker. She didn't. Lee was actually drowning in debt. Instead of buying her $1 million home outright, she opted for payments. She leased luxury cars and even borrowed millions from banks. In a desperate attempt to salvage her financial situation, she sold off the rights to her future lottery payments for a lump sum. But it was too late. In 2001, she filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy. At that time, she had less than $700 in her bank account and a debt of approximately $2.5 million. Number 5. Andrew Jack Whitaker. The fifth and final tale in our series of lottery winners who squandered their fortunes is that of Andrew Jack Whitaker. Already a millionaire, this West Virginia man hit a $314.9 million Powerball jackpot in 2002. You'd think someone accustomed to wealth would handle it well, but not Whitaker. He started off generously, donating to charities and even setting up a $14 million foundation. But then, misfortune struck like lightning. Thieves swiped $545,000 from his car, and he was later targeted in a drugging and robbery scheme at a club. But the real tragedy lay in his personal life. His granddaughter's boyfriend overdosed in his home, and she too died under mysterious circumstances. Legal woes followed, including a lawsuit from a casino for bouncing $1.5 million in checks. To top it off, his uninsured Virginia home burned down in 2016. Thus, Whitaker's life gradually turned into a cautionary tale, providing that even those familiar with wealth can fumble when fortunes multiply. And that's a wrap. Tales of lottery wins gone horribly wrong. Remember, it's not just the win, but the aftermath that counts. So what would you do with a jackpot? Think wisely, you could be next. If you liked the video, please consider subscribing and sharing so we can keep bringing more content like this. See you next time.